airplane mode. Sometimes I get people call me on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I do not disturb the software all things. And then you'll just see all the missed calls when you come back.
Hello, my name is Jay Bridgepall. I'm a real estate broker since 1988. I've seen the good days, the bad days, and the not so bad days. My passion is to educate consumer about all aspects in real estate. Actually, I sold over $1.75 billion in real estate. Now, that's a lot of experience. I went through many failures, many successes, and I've seen many stories that you will be amazed. Not everything looks so glamorous as it is sometimes. On Let's Talk Real Estate, we will dig deep down and I will take you step by step through every process, from buying your first home to buying a multi-million-dollar investment property. We will have various people on this show. Lawyers, investors, we'll have mortgage brokers, appraisals, and everyone else to assist us to take you to that point. My aim is to break it down in such easy terms that you will be able to follow. So please join me every Thursday between 1 and 2, and let's talk real estate.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to this session of Let's Talk Real Estate. I am Jay Bridgepall.
And AMIT here.
We are both from the Bridge team. And we would like to take the next few sessions discussing everything you want to know about buying and selling home.
Yeah, Jay.
It looks very simple, and most people, they do it once or twice in a lifetime, and they do not realize all the changes that are in place.
You know, Jay, something changes every year or every 6 months. So even if you did it 2 years ago, it's something definitely different now.
Definitely. It's a very important area because I've seen many problems where people buy first, couldn't sell their home in time, they got major problems. Some of them end up selling first, couldn't find a home that suits their needs.
Definitely.
We get into problems.
And you know, the real thing is there's a lot of confusion around the entire idea of buying and selling first. Because when you think about it logically, you might want to sell your home first and then get the money and then buy your home. But then where would you live?
That's another problem. So the first place that you start on it, I really think first you got to figure out, do I really want to sell? What's the reason you're selling?
Definitely.
Right? Some people may say, here, I'm selling to upgrade, I'm upgrading. What do you think might be a better idea if someone is upgrading? Should they really sell their home?
Well, here's the thing, Jay. A lot of people think you need all of that money from the existing home to go forward and purchase the next home. But with the way real estate market has actually been performing in recent years, you're very much able to only take a portion of that, use it for your down payment. So I think what you're leading to is maybe you don't have to sell that existing home.
Right. I mean, this is a point most realtors, I'm not saying all realtors, most realtors wouldn't explain to their client because it's to the agent detriment of telling the client not to sell their home.
Ah, Jay, so it's one of those things. It's a catch-22 for an agent because it's you know, it's detrimental to their pocketbook because they don't get a commission for selling that existing home.
Yeah, think about it this way. By the time you go through the process of selling, paying all the costs involved in terms of real estate fee and lawyer fee, land transfer tax, if a home about $500,000, that's about $50,000 worth of money.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? That's off the table. Right? What I find interesting that many sellers, if you have a smaller home, it might be wise to go to the bank. Let's say you're upgrading.
Right.
Go to the bank and ask the bank, see if you can take out some money from that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Jay, because what you can actually do, and I've had quite a bit of experience at the bank,
Yes.
as you know, over
Yes.
8 years.
Yeah.
And now you can just ask them to do a simple appraisal on the current property. And they're not gonna, be very much exactly the way that the market might dictate the price, but they're gonna give you a rough figure of maybe 90%, 80%, 75%, somewhere in that range of what your home is worth. And they'll actually be able to increase something that's called your global lending limit.
Okay.
And that global lending limit is gonna open up a whole bunch of equity for you.
Right. So you can literally take that equity and use it to purchase the home you want to live in, find a good tenant, and we have discussed in some of our sessions how to find good tenants.
Yes.
Right? Find a good tenant, rent the property out. So the tenant, the income is paying the mortgage on that rental property. And you now take your money and buy another property. So it's like you have the cake and you eat it at the same time.
That's it. You have your cake and eat it too, really.
Right,
It's
yeah.
true.
So it's more advantageous, especially for people who want to build wealth. You're at a younger age, you want to develop real estate, the value, we know that goes up over time. And you want to build that over time. So this might be a better option.
Yeah, Jay, it really is. It's nice that you touch on that topic about building wealth, because realistically, everyone understands that it's harder and harder to save these days with the
Yes.
cost of living going up.
Yes.
And if you're thinking about a younger person these days, trying to save, it's almost impossible.
That's true.
So if you have that both properties and they're both increasing, even at just inflation,
Yeah.
that's quite a bit of savings every year.
Yeah, well, I mean, here, you're a young man, you're probably just in your late 20s as yet.
Early 30s, but yeah.
but here, you have done that. You started about 5 years ago?
Yeah, 5 years ago.
ago.
Yeah.
When you bought your first property with
Yeah.
5% down?
Yeah, and it was a struggle, Jay. It was a 5% down purchase, and
Right.
it was tough, but that property has doubled since then.
Right, and actually that property now can buy another property.
Well, that one actually bought my second,
Right.
and then my second actually bought my third.
All right, now the 3 will buy 6.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the beautiful thing about what we are talking about, really how to build it. So should you really sell?
Yeah.
If you're a younger person, you're not retiring, you really want to develop your portfolio, then go to the bank, reappraise your property, take some money out, buy the other property, find a good tenant, put it in their other property, and let both property build wealth.
Yep.
You only have to pay for one property really, because the tenant is paying the mortgage and the cost on the other property.
Yeah.
Big benefit.
Yeah.
The interest on that rental property becomes a tax deductible interest against your income.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you're able to lower your income right off the bat.
Right.
Because you're creating wealth and you're lowering your income. It's definitely great.
And here is the major benefit. An average property buys another property within 5 to 7 years, because property price double, but buys another property in 5 to 7 years. At your age, let's say with the one property buy 2, 2 buy 4, 4 buy 6. Let's don't go that far.
Right.
I mean, you're early 30, that I could see that happen by 35 or so you'll be there. Right? Let's say all you have done and you moved on to retirement, that's 65. And you just have, 4 properties. By then they pay for themselves off over 25 years.
Right.
Right? Mortgage and them, they're all zero. Right? Each property bringing in an income of roughly $2,500.
Oh yes. Okay.
That's $10,000 per month. $120,000 per year. Repeated every single year.
And that's consistent income, Jay.
You don't have to think about how much RRSP you need to get
Oh, well over a million.
to get $120,000 per year. So first, review this scenario if you really need to sell. If it's a big property, sure, I'll advise get rid of it, because property up to 2,000 square feet and under, they're pretty decent rental properties.
Yes.
If they are bigger, then you probably don't want to keep it.
No, it tends to be not as attractive. Yeah.
Right, that's true. I mean, everything is higher.
Mhm.
Mortgage is higher, your taxes are
All
higher.
your utilities.
Utilities, maintenance, everything is higher.
Well, when you think about it, the average person that wants to take a stepping stone into renting, they don't want to be spending $2,600 a month on renting all of these items. They'd rather keep it in smaller properties.
Definitely, that's good. Now, if you are planning on selling and if you are downsizing,
Mm-hmm.
you got a bigger home and now you want to move down to a smaller home,
Right.
then that's okay because I mean after some point in life, like for instance me, you know, another 5-10 years I may want to start to downsizing, so
Right.
because the kids are gone, it's Nan and I alone in the home, and suddenly I realize this is too big for us.
Well, you know, it's something that happens to a lot of people, and they only realize after college is done, and 5-6 years later, all the kids are either married off or away at school, and you have 3 or 4 big bedrooms, or maybe a basement that you have to go clean it regardless if anyone is there. The dust will accumulate.
That's true. No, most people, they make the decision about downsizing usually too late in their life.
Yes.
When they are really, really ready for it. Downsizers should look at least 10 years in advance. It's always good even for us. Look 10 years in advance of your life where you might be and make decisions. For example, I may say, hey, you know what, 10 years from now, do I really need the stairs? Should I be prepared if I'm touching almost 60, I'll be 70, do I want to climb the stairs? Should I go and downsize and buy a 2-story home again?
And you know, that's very true, but Jay, what I'd like to do, let's put a pin in that specific topic and then touch back more on it in the next segment.
Yes, the next segment we talk about downsizing. See you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
You're right, if we pick the proper ones and stretch them out,
Yeah.
like financial planning.
So we just talk about that. So downsizing, we gotta talk about. There are many aspects. Why are you downsizing?
Well, what if CEO actually stood
Oh yeah, I
catching
want to
every
real quick.
opportunity?
Amit,
This week alone, I've seen
it's
3
on
businesses
us, but
Or whatever.
this guy,
in
you
your
wait,
cell. So you have to
right
know what
here,
your
right?
brand is first. So there's no other way that you're going to build a brand
Oh, it shakes.
network. You have to eventually get out there.
And it stems down to a lot of times not having the right knowledge, right
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
That's the only thing, because it's the that
No worries.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, seriously.
Why is it
They don't need health reasons.
So then we can.
You guys are back in 15 seconds.
Probably no funds, yeah.
So we can start about this thing.
Okay.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. I'm Jay Bridgeball.
And Amit Kanha here.
All right, Amit. And today what we are talking about is, you know, if you have to sell and buy, what's really involved? It's a topic that is very complex. It may look simple. So we are digging deep into everything so that you can benefit as
And
well.
breaking it down into a very lovely 4-part series.
Yes, it will be a 4-part series. Now, earlier on we just talked about, should you not sell your home, you need to invest your home. I just want our viewers to know that next week we're having this wonderful roundtable for real estate forum.
Oh, definitely, Jay. And that's actually not too far from here. It's right in Toronto. Well, it's the area of Kipling and 401 type of area, 96 Rexdale Boulevard.
Right.
And that's going to be from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. What I like about this forum, Jay, is you have everyone sitting around a round table, and you have people with varying different ideas and levels of experience that can share back and forth. So it's kind of something where everyone gets something out of it.
Yeah, it will be really beneficial because I have people coming in who are seasoned investors. I have people coming in who have done rent to own, and then got people coming in who have done legalizing basement.
Right.
So we will be able to hear from all these different people and draw from them.
It's jam-packed. And how much does it cost, Jay?
Well, you know, our passion is education,
Yeah.
right? The cost is that, you know what, give any amount you want to the Caribbean Children Foundation.
Yeah.
That's all the cost is.
Awesome.
Right? And anything over $20, you get a tax receipt.
Even better.
That's great. Yeah, so take it from there. You know, getting back to this, we were talking about downsizing. Why do someone want to downsize? What are one of the major reasons?
Well, Jay, the number one reason that's come across my desk, and that's because I've been in the bank for many years as well. Many people just say, well, hey, I need the money. I need to go into a retirement facility.
Right. Yeah, financing is one of the major issues. I mean, mortgage payments might be higher in a bigger home. Taxes are higher, utilities are higher, and they don't have enough money to cover themselves.
Yeah, and they have those small little units in retirement facilities, and they think maybe we'll take one of those.
Yeah, that's a great idea for people if they're downsizing for financial purpose. So sometimes they sell it, free their money up, move into retirement mode, and enjoy that money from month to month. Right? In that way, I will encourage them, yes, sell and downsize. There are companies that call reverse mortgage, where they say, hey, you know what, you can live in your home and take money out every month, we'll give it against your property. But then it's compound interest working reverse. So by the time you're ready to sell that home, most of your equity is gone. So I would strongly recommend not going that way.
And those guys are advertising everywhere these days, and it seems like a great option, but what they really are doing is they're kind of capitalizing on what you have as the equity in that property, and they're seizing it.
Well, that's exactly what they are doing. People don't like to move. I mean, moving is the next scary thing is the debt.
Yes.
Right? So people don't like to move, so they tend to fall for that. Say, oh great, I'm living in my home, I'm getting X amount of money coming every month and enjoying my life. But before you realize it, it's like you're in a pond, a river full of water, and in no time your nose will be under.
Oh yeah, and when you even think about that, Jay, it would almost be better just to go to the bank yourself and say, hey, I'd like an annuity or something like
Definitely,
that. So
that will be far better to do that. Right. Another reason people downsize is because of health. Right. I mean, they can't climb the stairs anymore. They want to become a chore. I've seen people where the washroom, they want to shower, they can't go up. They go upstairs, they can't come down. Right. They may want to sell because of that reason.
Very realistically, people are limited to one level.
Yes, that's true. Another reason for people to downsize is something change of lifestyle. The kids are all gone, and they don't want to clean this big home. And what's the point carrying that big home?
Yes.
So these are all good reasons to downsize. Now, if you are downsizing and you're planning to buy another property, right? Are you looking? The best thing to do is look at some properties first.
And Jay, it's great that you kind of honed in on that specific idea. And I'll tell you why. When you have lived in a property, let's say it's a 4-bedroom property, and you've been there for 30 years or 25 years, it is next to impossible to visualize yourself in a 500 square foot condo.
That's a major problem I come across, is that people now, moving up is exciting, it's fun. You go and see the bigger, nicer homes and everything else. Downsizing, it's very, very difficult, because suddenly you're saying, hey, but my couch wouldn't fit in that living room. My bedroom set wouldn't be able to fit in that bedroom. Where would I put my freezer? All right, some of these are...
Many of our retirees, they don't even realize that nowadays they actually make something called condo furniture. So these furnitures are, fridges of this size, couches of this size, and they're designed to fit in these 500 square foot places. And that couch from 30 years ago is not going to fit in a 600 square foot condo.
Right, so that's very important. Don't buy your place based on the fact that I have to fit my furniture, based on it, buy it based on the fact that that's the amount of space you will need, right? Many people buy a home because they need to put their furniture in, right, and not because of their needs. Right?
And it's backwards.
Right, that's backwards. I know, but I see it every day. I'm sure you see it as well.
I do, yeah.
Right, yeah, so that's what's important. So that's why I recommend that go out first and see some homes of roughly the size that you want to buy. That way you'll know whether you want to make that move or you want to buy something a bit bigger, or you'll get an idea as to what you
gotta
want.
visualize the space, see it and visualize it.
Yeah, that's true. Know what you're getting. Right? Now, what happens if you are buying and selling and you got to buy a home through a builder? Right? So I bought a home through a builder, closing next year, October.
Right.
I need to sell my home. Right? That's a topic by itself.
Jay, I've had, not to get too ahead of you, but I've had situations in recent years where we've actually specifically done a purchase. So our clients, we're the purchasers, and the seller purchased a brand new 3,000 plus beautiful home. And they maintained a good friendship. So as the closing day came, we realized that now the builder has given a delay. So yeah, think about that for a sec. So closing day is there, everyone's ready to swap the keys. These guys, the sellers, have to leave their home, and the buyers need to get into their property. They've already given their notice. Luckily, they were able to give them an extra 2 weeks. After that, the sellers that bought this amazing 3,000 square foot home made every request to keep this home. It wasn't possible. They had to live in the basement and rent their old home for 2 weeks and then go into a hotel. And you know, Jay, that hotel was 3 months. They were in a hotel while the builder delays were.
Wow. So it can be really scary. That's why I recommend if you are buying a new home, you got a resale home, don't put your home up on the market until the builder casts your foundation and the walls are going up. Right? You see, when builders are building a subdivision, they have to have fire breaks every so often. Let's say they may put 5-6 homes, leave one area blank, then build 5-6 homes, leave another area blank. That's called a fire space, and even there's a fire, because it's all wood presently, it does not go through the whole place. There is a break in between. If your home is caught as one of those fire space homes, we call it, then you might be last to build. Right? So that's why you want to make sure that the foundation is up, the side wall are up, before you even start.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because when you think of an entire block or a subdivision being built, if you're the last one, that could be the difference of maybe 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to make sure you do that. There are many more points what we need to discuss about buying new and selling your home. Let's take a break, and let's come back after that break, and we will just get into the meat and potato about buying a new and have to sell.
All right, sounds good.
See you shortly.
Yeah.
Just
the first
so now if they're buying new, so we want to talk about that.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle
the important ones to upgrade are legal
Visit our website today
exits.
to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Yeah, those are the important ones, yeah. We'll get the most bang for the buck. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate, here with myself, AMIT and Jay Bridgeball.
Hello.
Today we're going through a very interesting topic. It's about selling and buying your home at the same time, and it's something that's very confusing, Jay. There's a wealth of information out there, but mixed up with everything from buying a brand new home, upsizing, downsizing, or buying a builder home. It's just very confusing. So hopefully we can shed some of the light.
Yes, I mean, what I find is that it's information overload. You don't know where to start,
Yeah.
where to go, and what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is confused with so much information.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we want to make each topic very specific to the cause, so you can understand everything.
Yeah.
We have just touched on buying a new home, right? What you should do while you are buying a new home, you have your home to sell.
Right.
So you go to the builder. You said, builder, I got a home to sell. I want to buy your home. And the builder realtor says, okay, great. You know what? That's great. What we will do, we will help you to sell your home, and we'll give you a little bit of advantages so you can gain here. Right? They do that all the time, where everybody is trying to make a buck. Right?
Yep.
What are your advice on that?
Well, Jay, realistically, I've noticed, and this is not with all cases, but I've noticed that majority of the time, the realtors that are working at the office for the builder, they are not presently aware of all of the market conditions and driving factors. And this can be detrimental, because you're not looking at a sale that's happening next week, this week, or next week. It's 6 months, a year from now. So if you don't even know what's going on in the market now, it becomes very hard to advise you and help you navigate through those waters.
That's true. Most time that realtor do not understand the resale market either. They are working for the builder, doing brand new homes. They are making a few $1,000s from the builder, and then they are taking because you agree to go with them. They are calling one of their realtor friends that will market the property and giving them a kickback.
Yep.
Right. So it may be detrimental to you if you have a resale home to go with the builder agent to sell it. I mean, I'm not saying in all cases, but in majority of cases I've seen problems along these lines.
And you know what, Jay? It's one of those situations where, there's always some sort of money changing hands behind closed doors. And I always like that saying that you've used on the show many times. If you're embarrassed to tell your client what you've done, it's not the right thing that you're doing.
Perfect, that's true. So now you go there, number one, you decide to buy this new home. We already addressed closing date. What are some of the upgrades really should you take from the builder, and some of the upgrades you should avoid taking?
Well, that's a great topic, because the builder is going to tell you something different. But really, the first thing, the ground rules are, upgrades are most likely going to be 3 or 4 times more expensive coming from the builder. The main ones that are really going to get you the bang for the buck, Jay, are things that you can't just go into your house afterwards and install very easily. Something that's amazing is higher ceilings.
You know, that makes sense. You may pay some extra money for the higher ceilings, because with the higher ceilings, though, will come bigger doors, bigger windows,
more natural light. It's when you walk into a space that's even 1,000 square feet, when you have that extra 1 foot on top, it feels like 300 square feet larger. So that's a very
spend the money on getting a higher ceiling.
Exactly. Another one that I would say, specifically, a legal separate exit that has come from the builder.
That's a smart idea, because that is difficult to put in afterward. And it will cost you a lot of money to break and remake.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So why break and remake when you can build it right off the bat?
Right, that makes sense. The next thing I think is large windows in the basement.
Very well, yeah.
Right? I mean, you may pay a couple extra dollars, but put in a large window in the basement one time. Oversized window.
Yeah, and these oversized windows, they're not just a frivolous feature. They're definitely a safety issue. Because if you're even having just a normal gathering in the basement or something like that, these things are allowing you to exit very easily.
That's true. You get more natural light. You get more sunlight coming in.
Feels
it's
larger,
warmer. It has so much advantages doing these things. It makes sense.
And they're roughly the same cost after the fact, which is great.
Also, what's nice to do, pay the extra money to figure what you would like to do in that basement. For example, if you're planning on making an in-law suite, pay the extra money to get the rough tin done for the kitchen and your washroom, right?
Yeah, because you know it's always tough after the fact to break the concrete and run drainage.
It's double cost. The builder is doing it already. They're there. They will charge you some money. It's better to do these things than to say, hey, don't give me the laminate floor, put on hardwood floor.
Yeah.
That can be done later on.
Definitely, and you know, Jay, it's funny you mentioned just jumping into laminate itself. Now, the cost alone, it's better just to go with the builder minimum for flooring, kitchen cabinets, countertops. And why would you say that?
Well, more important, think about it. If I'm a builder, I'm one of these big builders, I need to protect my name. I wouldn't go and put all flabby things that people can see. Behind the walls, I may get away with a few things, but I'll make sure I put a decent kitchen, even it's not fully upgraded. I'll make sure I put a decent tile and these kind of things, right? Now, builders have to sell a property or an upgrade at least 3 times the regular cost. Think about it. Number one, they have to make a profit.
Right.
Number two, they will pay a contractor to do the job. Right? And number 3, they have to insure their work.
And you know, speaking about number 2 alone, many people are not even aware of the fact that it's not the builder that's building the guy that's building that home is not the one that's installing the kitchen.
That's true. It's a kitchen installer that may install kitchen for 50 homes in that area, right? They have a factory and they manufacture it there and do it, or they buy from a specific factory and install it.
Yeah. So there's that, and then, like you said, the insurance.
Right. So it's best to avoid. Take these upgrades later. What might be nice, for example, take upgrades, for example, put in the rough tin for the pot lights. Get the wires pulled in. Leave the pot lights, you can do it later, but at least get the rough tin in for it, right? Put in a hardwood stairs where you don't have to take out every spindle.
Some of these things will save you a ton of money. I just recently, I myself, upgraded some of the lighting in my home and did the running for the electrical on the pot light. And Jay, do you know that there are specific distances you cannot exceed if you already have the joist running a certain way?
Definitely.
And when everything is ripped down, or before it's even built, you can do anything you want.
Definitely, definitely. So it's best to take on these upgrades. Now, we have done the upgrades, we went into the builder, we negotiate our closing date, we negotiate our upgrades, and it's coming time that we want to think about selling our existing home. Right? We have also talked about why we should not use the builder's realtor to sell your existing home. I've heard many cases I've seen over 30 years where the new home, the realtor will say, hey, you know what, if closing postponed a little bit because we are selling the home and selling your home, we'll try to make a match.
Right.
They're telling clients that, you know what, if you sell and buy through us, we will throw in the hardwood floor instead of laminate floor. And many people go for that, but that's not necessarily true.
And not just that, Jay, sometimes you're thinking that you're going to save, you know, $2,000 here, but you're going to feel it somewhere else, and you'll get to that next.
Yeah, definitely. You will see where some people tend to lose out big time, right? Now, if you are selling your home, your resale property, how do you want to protect yourself in the event the builder have a delay? Now, we have seen that many times over, right? Where you put your home on the market on it, you said, okay, great, the builder will be able to close on this time, they'll just send us over 3 notices. Now, after 3 notices, they will have to cover the cost. But in those fine writing, you do not see that. It says that in the event of things beyond their control, then you can take your money and go.
Well, you know, Jay, it's funny you mentioned that, because as the seller, there's certain ways that you can protect yourself, and this is kind of detrimental to the builder and other people involved. So this is why you want separate representation. Now, this is something where you can actually build a clause directly into the sale that says if there are delays up to 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's up to you, the seller's discretion. And then the buyer's going to have to deal with it.
Right. Well, that's a very important topic. When we come back, we will talk how to construct your offers in such a way to protect yourself from the resale home, so that you're ahead of the game.
Definitely.
Okay. See you soon.
I haven't used one of those clauses in a while. How's it working out?
Okay, notwithstanding the current
Yeah, notwithstanding. Yes.
the buyer seller agrees that. So this is our fourth session now.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
you
it?
have one more segment.
Oh, this is it. This is it.
This is the last one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was quick.
But what if
What time are we
CEO
at?
actually stood
No, we're good.
catching every opportunity?
We're going to split it into four, so it's fine. It's good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But we want to just do that.
Back quickly, and then we'll
You have to know
mark
what
it
your
up.
brand is first. So there's no other way that you're going to build it unless you
So
network. You
the
have to
three
eventually get
major
out there.
ones.
And it stems down to a lot of times not having the right knowledge, right?
Oh yeah, buying, selling right back.
How that will work, but how it can possibly be a disadvantage. Carry on negotiating the traffic.
Yeah.
But number two, sell revenue. And then we controlling how you can do your spots.
Oh yeah, where they just park it in the front there.
Alright, guys, we're back in 5 seconds.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. I am Jay Bridgeball, and with me, Anik and I, we are discussing everything you want to know about buying and selling your home. It will be about 4 different series because it's a very confusing topic and there are a lot of things you need to understand. In our last segment, we touched on how you can protect yourself in the event you are selling and buying. You already bought your new home from the builder. Your closing date is coming up. The builder send you a letter here. We got 3 weeks delay or a month delay. What are your options?
You know what, Jay? There's it's really tough. When you're already in that situation, you're basically stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a few different options. Now, one that we were just touching on briefly before was the notwithstanding clause. Now, this has to be done well prior to closing. It's when you're doing your negotiations.
With your resale property.
With your resale property,
Right.
exactly. So you actually have a clause that's built in there that's going to protect you in the event that your builder takes a 30 days or maybe even a 60 days. Now, this is great from your point of view, but you, like you were saying on the break, you sometimes lose a little bit of your negotiating power.
Right. Well, the way you want to do it is, number one, I've done it many times. Number one, if all your conditions are perfect, your price is set at fair market value, the property is properly staged and advertised and marketed, you may attract more than one buyer. At that point, I've done it many times over, where I interview every realtor and every buyer. I said, hey, you know what? What happened if we need an extra month extension? Would your client be willing to give that person? So I brought that in right up front in the negotiating process. So I brought it as part of the negotiating process. And this is how I worded it. I said, notwithstanding the current closing date, the seller reserved the option to extend the closing date to a new closing date, not exceeding, let's say, 60 days,
Right.
provided we inform the buyer 30 days in advance of our option to exercise this.
And you know what's so beautiful about that process, Jay? Now, that same buyer that's purchasing that property, if you had approached them the day after, I mean the next day, to request, oh, maybe there might be a builder delay and let them know, they would not be having it.
Well, they would have already go ahead and made decisions to move. They're giving up their place and everything else, and then there will be cost. They probably book their truck, and there will be cost associated with that. So really and truly, all the cost, because it's your fault, will now come to you. But if we have got that clause at the beginning that was negotiated, you can exercise that option. and then you don't have to worry. You're there. They cost you zero.
And just like you said, if you're pricing right and staging well, and you have attracted more than one buyer, you're able to use that a little bit of leverage.
Definitely. I've used it many times over my career to save people that asked.
Yep.
Another option is that we've seen in the late 80s or early 90s, we've seen interest rate fluctuations. Now, what I did for some of our clients then is that we said, you know what, hey guys, interest rate is going up next month, so buyer, you need to close early. So what we do, we arrange to close early, but our seller rent back this property.
Right.
That can be used in many cases where we agree to close early, right? We calculate the cost that it will cost the buyer per month,
right?
And the seller rent it back for roughly that cost, or at least at fair market value.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's for mutual benefit for both parties.
Exactly.
But the advantage with that process is that, number one, the seller knows that their property is closed. They got the money in their bank, and they can take their time and move to the other property because they know, hey, they're renting on a month-to-month basis. Right?
Yeah, that's a great option as well. Now, that one actually brings another one to mind, but because there's sometimes so much confusion around this that someone just says, you know what, Jake, I just want to sell my place and make other accommodations.
You may have a family member that you can move to, right? Or you don't mind. It's difficult to find a place to rent for a month or 2 months.
Not many places are going to offer these short-term rentals with the advent of places like Airbnb and whatnot. Because what tends to happen is a regular home that is maybe $1,650 or $1,700 a month on a 1-year basis is going to charge $2,000 or maybe $2,300 a month, because they know they're not getting consistent rent out of it. So these Airbnb and stay away from home places, they're going to charge a little bit more. So you might end up back at square one if you needed to rent for 6 months, right?
Right, so that's a problem you'll be facing if you have to go short-term rental, because number one, it's very difficult to get accommodation. What I do recommend to people as well is pods, PODs, pods,
yes.
Portable on-demand service, where they literally bring that container to your doorstep. You can load it up, they will take it away to storage, and when you're ready to take it to the other place, they will bring it.
Yeah.
That's usually be a major problem where people will haul their furniture, take it to one of these storage spaces, unload it, and pack it in there, and then when they're ready to move, then they have to go live it up again, get another truck.
Yeah, and when you actually factor in all the different costs associated, it's more likely it's actually cheaper, because these guys are literally bringing a huge container and putting it down on your driveway, safely, of course, and you just pack everything up into it. It's like you're shipping your whole house.
Right, that's a better way, because anytime you move furniture, unload, offload, you're damaging them.
Yeah.
This way, it's very minor, you're touching it. Now, we will continue our next session the next time, but let's talk about some market updates.
Definitely.
Interest rate is on top of our mind.
Yeah, there's been a big one, yeah.
Yeah, a quarter-point increase. So now,
all banks are following.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've, the first one that we saw, I guess that was on a couple days back, but now everyone is up to the maximum interest rate allowed. So everyone's at 3.95.
Yeah, that's true. So at 3.95.
Oh, sorry.
3.45.
3.45. Sorry,
right,
3.45. Yes. Sorry, I was confusing the line of credit.
Actually, the line of credit rate
is
3.95.
Yeah, right? And a lot of people don't realize that everyone has a floating line of credit that they've used to, purchase a vehicle or do something like that nature. That interest rate is just jacked up.
Right. So the bottom line here: if you are not using your line of credit for investment purpose, then you want to probably avoid that line of credit. Just take it in a mortgage.
Yes, definitely.
Because you will be saving with a 0.5 point interest rate.
Yeah.
Right. That's a major good point. Another thing that we got to look at is now that means that based on the new stress test rules, you have to their qualifying rate will be 5.45%.
Yeah, it's huge, because what you're doing effectively is you're actually lowering the potential purchase price. So to put that very regularly, what you were able to qualify for last year is going to be slightly less.
Yeah, because interest rate factor will qualify for less, of course, right? I mean, minimum wage have gone up, but still not really helping that much, right, in that way. And I really envision that the market will be stable, but you will still see a minimal growth. You will not see that, as I said, vertical spike.
Yeah, and you know, the last few years has definitely been something that's, you know, not normal. If you look at the 50 years of history of homes in Canada, that's been an anomaly. So we're probably going to be back to a very regular, slow pace of growth.
But we are not seeing major drops either.
Not at all. No, not at all. A slow pace in growth. We have all of the immigrants coming to either Vancouver or Toronto, or in the suburbs around these areas. So we still have a very serious demand.
Right, and we might expect interest rate one more time per year in Canada.
I would think so. I would think so.
I could see that.
My gut is telling me, and this is just my ideology, I really think that we need to get back to a normalized amount somewhere in the mid-2000s and 5% range.
That will be ideal if we can get that, but what we will see is that we will enter more of a balanced market where there will be equal amount of buyer and seller, so you can negotiate properly. We will not see the crazy last year, January, February market.
Where you had 18 buyers for one home.
We did some offers where there are 25 offers on one property, you get bowled out, and people end up paying $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 more.
It was bad on both ends of the spectrum, Jay, because even as the seller's realtor, you feel bad for many of these agents that are waiting for 4 hours outside.
Well, yeah, and it's even worse when come closing, 3-4 months down the line, and the market tumbled right last year, and many sellers the deals did not close, right? So these things do happen, but with the interest rate hike, we will see a slight slowdown in the market. Consider that they put it at a time of the year where it used to really take off. Yeah. So it really put a slightly slower pace in it than last year.
They timed it correctly.
Yeah. So then again, should we really buy first or sell first? That's confusing.
Yeah. After all these 4 segments, we're still at a big question mark at the end. Yeah. But you know what, Jay? That's really why we've broken this down into 4 segments.
So on our next segment, we will talk about whether you should sell first or buy first. See you until next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to write automatically things that we can memorize that are our normal sign-off. Like what's our sign-off? What's our transition to the next segment?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So then we can